Hello once again, Star Wars and Unboxing fans. Welcome to another episode of Darth Tuba's Star Wars Unboxing Show. I'm your host, Darth Tuba, and Galaxy's Edge, Walt Disney World, has been open to cast member previews, and today was the first day, or I think yesterday was the first day, no, I think it was today actually, that it began opening to annual pass holders. So they are really gearing up for their full opening, and in addition to that, we've received recent news, probably about 2 weeks ago actually, that, or maybe even more than that, that they have made the decision to open Rise of the Resistance in December in Walt Disney World and in early January in Disneyland, which means that by January the entire park will be in full operation, and that's really exciting. So, and another thing that they started doing, I think this week or a little bit, it was just a week to 2 weeks ago, is they started for Florida creating reservation times for some of the experiences, like the Oga's Cantina, Savi's Workshop, and the Droid Building Station. So we are planning on getting down there in Thanksgiving, and we were able to reserve some time slots for those activities. We decided not to do the Savi lightsaber workshop on our Thanksgiving or Christmas trips. We're going to hold that off until the summer. But as far as the we got the droid building one, my wife's going to do that. She's going to pick a droid, and hopefully I'll be able to film it. So, which I don't see why not. I mean, there's been videos dropping on YouTube all the time, and I will be doing. We'll both be, checking out the cantina. So we're really excited about that. Just to be walking around the land again. I feel that some of the, actually, I really do believe that a lot of the failure, quote unquote, things that they're saying about Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland is a complete, basically a crock. I don't think it's anything true to that. I just think that it's a different type of park, and they made a decision to open the parks before both rides were complete. So that does mean that there are people that are just going to wait until they're both complete before they schedule their trip. And also they blocked out a lot of annual passes. They blocked out cast members. It's just a lot of things that they blocked out. And I believe in Disney World, I think we'll get a better feel and understanding for that and how that's working. I know I have friends that are going down this week that weren't able to get any time slot reservations. Now that there's pass holder previews, they weren't able to get anything because they're all taken up. So very excited. But what I thought I would do, now that we're getting into this last bit of prep time before the official opening, is we've had on past episodes some unboxings of Disney Star Wars mashup figures, and I want to do that with you guys right now. I want to take advantage of the excitement about Galaxy's Edge and happening in Disney and take a look at some of that old school stuff. Now, we've opened up a lot of figures on this channel. I have essentially about 12 more, roughly, okay, or at least 12 more packages. And so I'm going to do 2 parts. I'm going to do part 1 and a part 2, and we'll get one out soon, and then the next one out at the next episode. Okay, so what we're going to start with right now are essentially the remainder of our Muppet figures. Okay, so we have Bean Bunny as and Chicken as Wicket and the Stormtrooper. We have Rizzo the Rat as Yoda. We have, oh, this is Disney. We also have down here, we have Uncle Deadly, Gonzo and Chicken as Emperor Palpatine, Darth Vader, and the Royal Guard. Okay, and we have Fozzie and Link Hogthrob as Chewbacca and Han Solo. So lots of cool ones there. And then after that, we have a couple of more Disney ones we'll do. The holographic Emperor Palpatine as Stitch, or Stitch as the Palpatine hologram, and Stitch as the Yoda hologram. Okay, so we'll put them off to the side, and we'll put these off to the side, and we'll put this one off to the side. We're going to start with this one. So, as you've seen, and if anybody's been watching my channel, please go back check out my other videos if you haven't. We do a lot of different unboxings here. And again, the reason behind it, as I said many times, is just that I'm just limited with space, and I do not have any serious intention of getting rid of these figures anytime soon. And I've witnessed a few other people's displays, and I was really impressed with what I was seeing. I thought they were really fantastic. So I have no problem opening some of these up. So now the Muppet figures, as I've said on the past one, are like the Disney figures. They're kind of limited articulation. They're not. They're almost like more statues than anything else. So we have our. Although Bean Bunny, I'll say he's got his legs move, his arms move, his wrist moves. He's got. I think you can get his thing in there too. Good. I'll get his cloak. You can actually take it's kind of a rubbery material, so you can actually take it off his hood, his cowl. So he's in good shape for that. So you can find a nice spot. And then what I love about the chicken is that he is essentially Camilla, the chicken. Usually I think her head turns, but I don't think that happens. But all you have with that is just a helmet. Put a helmet on, and there he is. He's cosplaying, okay? So that's kind of cool. All right, well done on that. And again, I think we've talked about this in the past, but I believe that when Disney bought Star Wars, believe it or not, there's legalities that take place. And, when Disney is not the full said owner of the Star Wars brand, they had a little more license to do things than if they are the owner. And that sounds weird because you would think that when Disney owns something, they can do whatever they want, but they can't. There are different parts within Disney. See, Disney owns a lot of things, and each of those things have been left alone to their own device, their own company. Lucasfilm is one of those things, and Disney can do a few of these things, but now Lucasfilm has to give them permission. And I think around the time of it, I think there was some things. If you want to see Star Wars through Disney, Disney's like before Disney acquired Star Wars. If you want to see some interesting things that Disney was doing, go back to YouTube and look for videos of Star Wars weekends, which I think went around until around 2014, 2015. I think I went in 2014 to it, and check it out. It's very interesting. The characters were there. They had little parades with some of the actors, and then the actors would sign autographs, and then they had some little programs, almost like a little mini convention, which was good. And they had a Star Wars store, and you can buy all the special merchandise. But they also did this thing called, oh my God, I think it was the Hyperspace Hoopla, which was a dance-off essentially with Star Wars characters. And on the one hand, it was really funny and interesting to watch, and I kind of enjoyed that aspect of it. But on the other hand, watching like the Emperor come out with like gold chains and try to do hip hop and rap and breakdancing, it really took you out. It was kind of like almost like a parody. Like a parody video, but like live and done really with by Disney, which was weird. So I'm not saying, oh no, Rizzo just lost his head. Oh yeah. Oh my goodness, this is a tough one. They get this one in there, man. Holy cats! Wow, this is crazy, man. And he lost his leg. Man, Rizzo did not survive this unboxing very well, but I think if I'm not mistaken, one nice thing about that, I don't know if people ever do this, but there is a great way for you to enjoy the characters and to kind of customize them. Oh, that's okay. This is strange. All right, well, he can't really hold his stick because it seems as though he doesn't really have a hole to do that. Maybe he's supposed to be underneath. I will say this: that they do pretty well when it comes to. It's very unusual. I can't really tell. I think it's supposed to be. His hand looks like it's supposed to be loose there, and it's there, but it's very hard to get it fully articulated. I think I got it. No, I didn't. Oh, Rizzo. If you've never been to the Disney park, yeah, I can't get it in there. If you've never been to a Disney park and you're planning on going, go to Muppet Vision 3D. It's such a hilarious 3D movie. it was one of Jim Henson's last projects, and the pre-show, the prep show, like on video in your waiting room, is like almost as funny, if not more funny, than the show itself. And one great scene is when Sam the Eagle's doing all the safety spiel, and he gets told that Mickey Mouse is there to say hello, and he welcomes Mickey Mouse, big drum roll, and then Rizzo comes out with the ears, and he hello, thank you, welcome to my park, how you doing? It's a very funny part. Anyway, moving on. We have let me do Uncle Deadly. Anybody remember Uncle Deadly? Uncle Deadly was around, but he was kind of like one of the scary Muppets. So that was like kind of funny. I've always been a Muppet fan as long as I've been a Star Wars fan, almost, and probably even longer because I grew up with Sesame Street. And I really always enjoyed the Muppets. I thought there was an irreverency that now is so funny, because today that irreverency feels more like reverency, like there's a reverency to it. But Jim Henson was anything but reverent. He was absolutely. He wanted the more. Excuse me for 1 second. The more zany you could be. Sorry for the noise. The more zany you could be, the better off he was with it. He liked it better that way. So I'm telling you, he would, if he had his way, he would have done a lot of more zaniness. And silly and that kind of thing, because that was the way he was. So, wow, man, Uncle Deadly is pretty impressive here. He's got a huge, way about him here, and looks like you can actually tie. He's got little rubber you can put behind him, so you can do lightning bolts. This guy's gonna and he has a tail. Holy, where does the tail go? Oh, I see. I never knew he had a tail. Because Muppets, they don't have bottoms. They stop at the waist, usually. But apparently Uncle Deadly doesn't. He has a tail. Cool. Who knew? And he has so he has lightning, he's got a tail, and he even has a lightsaber. And I even I give Disney credit. He gave the Palpatine the correct lightsaber. Pretty cool. Get him right there. And then we got Vader. Now it looks like Vader comes with two heads. You got the masked Vader, and I'll put this in photo. And then you got the grillless, maskless face. So that's kind of cool. I think I'm going to put him in the mask, because that was a great moment. Muppets, of course, their first Star Wars crossover. Second. The first Star Wars crossover, if I'm not mistaken, was the episode of Sesame Street where R2 and 3PO were on it, right when Star Wars came out. It was really famous and really strong. And R2 fell in love with a post office box. It was really bizarre, but again, zany, crazy stuff on Sesame Street, and it's gonna be kind of weird. Gonzo's head right there, and then we just put little Camilla with his emperor mask, really cute. And then the second Muppet crossover was where the Muppets had on the Stars of Star Wars, on probably one of the most watched. And I'm not saying this with any degree of authority, but I do believe that so many people watched the Star Wars theme, Stars of Star Wars on the Muppet episode. It had Mark Hamill, had Anthony Daniels as C-3PO, R2-D2 as R2-D2, Peter Mayhew as Chewbacca, and all the other characters kind of got into the act. And Luke Skywalker everybody thought he was Mark Hamill, but it turned out he was Luke Skywalker, but he had his cousin. It was pretty funny. So some pretty cool stuff. And he had borrowed the Swine Trek, which is the pigs in space spaceship. So that was always a fun episode. So I love it. And I very much look forward to. I'm hoping. I feel like the Muppets, ever since Disney acquired the Muppets, they've been trying really hard to come up with something for them, kind of a venue for them. They've tried a TV series, they've tried other things. I think they've kind of gotten in their own way about it. I do think that ever since the Muppets have struggled a bit ever since the passing of Jim Henson, but I have enjoyed their work, especially Muppet. I love Fozzie. Especially Muppet Christmas Carol. Fozzie has the little rubber chicken in his bag. I think that's a little clever little touch. The Muppet Christmas Carol, which to me is one of the best Muppet movie, even stronger than some of the Muppet movie, and that was post Jim Henson after his death. But even now, even some of his, except for maybe the Muppet movie, it's like I think one of the second best Muppet movie. I think it's just amazing. So and Link Hogthog looks the part really well. So there are our Muppets. Okay, those are our Muppet characters. But I didn't want to wait. Come on, you are not playing the Force. You're not playing the Force Awakens Muppet. You're playing the Force Awakens Muppet. Can you imagine? Force Awakens Han Solo who dies. You play the younger Han Solo. So stay up. Okay. All right. So lastly, we have a few more of these in the part 2 episode. So I just want to make sure that I okay. You know what? You're just gonna stay down and take a nap. So I didn't want to put all of these on the second episode because the episode, let's face it, the other day we had a pretty lengthy episode that I had a few interesting comments that were left. One person, my daughter commented, it reminded of her having to stock like a whole bunch of Starbucks mugs down and open them up and unbox them. And it's not as much fun when you're doing it as a job, but I appreciated the humor. And I had one friend kind of say, well, what do you do after you unbox them? And I said, well, we put them on display, I position them, I do all sorts of stuff. And then somebody's like, what's going to happen when you unbox everything? You don't realize that new things are coming in the mail every day. I always love the translucent look of the figures. I think that's really cool. And especially the Star Wars blue translucent look. So let's see if I can get him right there. Cool. And lastly for today, we have another Stitch and another hologram. Stitch is a favorite in this household. It's really funny. It seems to me like there are people, you either love Stitch or you hate Stitch. And honestly, I don't get it. I mean, I can understand, might not be your favorite movie or whatever. I can understand why it might not be your favorite attraction. Just because the attraction is, it was a little weird. For those who don't remember, there was an extraterrestrial encounter. You were sitting in this circular room and this alien would come in. It was more of a sensory kind of thing where the lights went out and you would hear the monster and you'd feel it breathing on you and you'd feel dripping like it was snarling over you, that kind of thing. But it never really touched you, but it still freaked you out. And it was pretty intense. And there are people that swear by, there's people that are nostalgic for that ride and they just can't get over it. They can't get enough of it and they wish they would bring it back. But at its time, it was actually pretty intense. So Disney did not want to. Oh, you know what I realized? That was Yoda. That wasn't Palpatine. That was Yoda that I opened up. This is Palpatine. So yeah, and anyway, here is Palpatine and his little thing. But anyway, so that ride closed and they made it a Stitch ride. But it was still kind of uncomfortable to watch because it was just this sensory. It was messing with you. And there really wasn't a lot of Stitch in it, except one animatronic, which was the best part of it. It was an amazing Stitch animatronic. But yeah, that was unfortunate. Other than that, it was really not all that great. So it is now it's closed and it's turned into a Stitch meet and greet. And I'm sure I'm hearing maybe a Wreck-It Ralph attraction will go there. It's in Tomorrowland, so we'll see what happens. But that will do it for this week's episode. We have our 2 Stitches, Stitch the good and the bad, Stitch Yoda and Stitch Palpatine, both holograms, along with all of our Muppet characters. And I do think that does conclude our Muppet display. And what I'm going to do, I'm working on something for those of you, go back a few episodes, we kind of redid some bookcases here. I'm actually going to go and get some molding that I can use as kind of a step, like a little step, so I can put stuff in the back up higher and then kind of work its way down so you can see, just display the figures a little bit better, both the Muppet and the Disney characters. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, that'll do it for this week's episode. Sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification button, check out all my other videos and playlists, leave comments, suggestions, we've got some other cool things coming in the mail. We got some cool things to do some unboxings with. I'm going to dip into some old stuff. We got some more shelf talks to do. So we got a lot of cool things coming up. So thank you so much for watching. And until next time, I guess we'll do Stitch. May the Force be with you.